Hello, it's Billy from Insanity Samples, and I'm incredibly excited to be showing you around our trailblazing new release, Cool Jazz Collection. The Cool Jazz Collection is a 5-instrument ensemble curated to tap into that cool jazz, Miles Davis, Chet Baker style of writing, which we believe is something completely new and unique in the world of sample libraries. Included in this pack is a classic cool jazz sound, the muted trumpet, and for maximum flexibility, a set of unmuted samples. Then a tenor saxophone, full of interesting articulations and a bunch of extended range screams, which are amazing to play around with. We'll dive into those a bit later. Also on offer is a piano, captured with that mid-60s Bill Evans vibe, then an upright bass, and finally a drum kit with both brushes and sticks. As you can see, as with all of our libraries, the interface is simple and straight to the point, with key switch controls both on your keybed at the red coloured keys, and also on the GUI for direct mouse click based articulation changes. We also have an expression slider on everything bar the drums for added volume control in performance, alongside velocity control dynamics, which is complete with our classic dynamic indicator to show you which dynamic you are triggering based on your personal performance. On the saxophone and trumpet, we also have offset and key sound controls, with piano having pedal sounds and release triggers. We'll dive into all of that and what they do as we work through the collection. So that's the basics of the interface. Let's dive into the sound of the library. Up first, let's get to the trumpet. And let's dive straight into the muted longs with legato. Such an iconic sound, capturing wonderfully that raw, niche sound so synonymous with the style. Before moving on from this articulation, let's take a look at what the offset and key dials do. So the offset is effectively dealing with the start of each note when playing in a legato or joined up style. If the dial is set to 0, you will get a fresh, new, retongued note every time, heading into the legato transition. Great for creating a very authentic, breathy performance. And with the dial set to maximum, we have a very smooth, single breath style transition, placing the legato transition at the forefront and creating a very slurred style of phrasing. A great way to create a more slurred and smooth performance when needed. Okay, onto the polyphonic longs. This will allow for chordal playing when writing harmonies. And staccato. Great for punching through the mix when writing a more pronounced and targeted phrase. Okay, onto falls. Now the mute comes off, and we repeat the same set of articulations, so long with legato and unmuted. A beautiful full-bodied brass sound. Onto the polyphonic longs. Staccato. Onto falls. Okay, let's jump over to the saxophone. The performance in this instrument is brimming with character and expression. As with the trumpet, each note has a dynamic arc of its own, with each note having a story to tell. Held for long enough, you'll get a beautiful vibrato trail-off, which was performed live and gives so much to the character of the instrument. Saxophone is a real highlight in this collection. Let's head to the polyphonic longs next to play some harmony-based phrases. Okay, onto falls. Now we have semitone and tone trills. The semitones first. Beautiful performance trills with so much character built into every single sample. Now the whole tone trills. Lovely. Okay, now staccato. Onto the piano now. A beautifully expressive piano that really complements the melodic instruments in this ensemble. We gain some additional controls here as well, with attack speed controlling the initial attack of the note. Use this sparingly to soften the bite of the initial note. Though for special effects, this can also be ridden very high, so we can get almost nothing but the tail of the note. But less is definitely more for the most part here. We also have release triggers, which give us the sound of the notes as they are released on a real piano, which is quite a specific sound, as individual string pads return to the note, creating a unique sound on every key. Additionally here, the scripting usually makes it so that when you have the sustain pedal down, you no longer hear the release triggers at all. But in a real-life setting, this isn't the case. You still hear a slight note-off sound as you release the notes, but the actual string just continues to resonate. We have captured this under the hood and given a whole new level of realism to how a plug-in piano reacts to performance. If I turn this dial all the way up, you'll hear how the release works when the pedal is down. Okay, we also have pedal sounds. This is the live recorded sound of the sustain pedal being pressed and released. Here's how it sounds. Another beautiful injection of realism that almost goes unnoticed until it isn't there. Finally, on the piano, we have two reverbs as sends, so you can better replicate the complexity of a piano in a real space by combining the two reverbs in the chain. Right, on to double bass. A very simplistic interface, as is the nature of the bass. We have two key switches, longs, and then stopped notes. These aren't quite staccato, they still have some real length to them, they just have a very clear and beautifully performed stop with the fretting hand. Let's take a listen to the longs first. A very inspiring and human sounding instrument. Now the stopped notes. I love that sound of the hand stopping each note, very characterful. Okay, finally in this collection, we have a drum kit with sticks and brushes. The mapping is standard MIDI drum mapping, so this will work with any E-kits you have, but in between each note, we also have a carbon copy designed for ease of use when keyboard drumming, like so many people do when writing in the box. So the snare is in the usual place of D, but on its neighbouring note of E, we also have the same set of samples, allowing for a much easier and smoother way to create faster playing, like rolls or grooves. We also have a continuous and non-time specific brush swirl located on the C above all of the other drums. This allows for that classic jazz sound that can be put into tempo by the inclusion of brush accents on the snare located on the lower D. a fully flexible way to work with this kit for sure. Okay, let's hear some grooves, one with brushes, one with sticks, and finally with rim clicks. Okay, that has been an in-depth look at a very singular, unique library, the Cool Jazz Collection. Head over to insanitysamples.com for more information. Thanks for watching.